Hi guys, welcome back. Today's topic of discussion would be another form of classification, which is metals, nonmetals and metalloids in the periodic table. Now firstly, this will be a very short video in which we will talk about things we already know. These are very easy things. All these are classified as metals. The majority, the left as well as the center of the periodic table, is mostly constituted of metals. Metals make up about 78% of the entire periodic table. Now each and every one of you would know what are the properties of metals. They are malleable, ductile, lustrous, good conductors of heat and electricity. They have high density, high melting point, boiling point. They are generally solids and all. This is very easy. Also, okay, so 78% of the entire periodic table is made up of metals mostly. Now where are the non-metals? The non-metals are here. These are all the non-metals in the, it's very less, they are only 20 in number about. Okay, in the very right side of the periodic table they are present. You also know the properties of non-metals. They are non-malleable, non-ductile, they are usually gases or maybe solid. They have low melting and boiling points and all. They are poor conductors of heat and electricity. Each and every one of you knows. Now there is no sharp line between these. Actually there are these elements which are in between metals and non-metals. They are known as semi-metals or metalloids. There are silicon, germanium, arsenic, tellurium and all. They have properties in between metals and non-metals, and they are also present between non-metals and non-metals in the metals and the periodic table. So they are known as metalloids or semi-metals. Now there is a mnemonic to memorize all these metalloids, because they usually come in the exams, what are the metalloids and all. So I'll tell you the mnemonic now. Now all these are the metalloids: astatine, tellurium, Sb is antimony, germanium, polonium, arsenic and silicon. Boron is sometimes included in metalloids but not always, so you have to choose according to the options in the MCQs. But what is the mnemonic here? This is anti, Te is teri, Sbge sometimes is sabji, Po is puri, Bassi is basi. Anti teri sabsi puri basi is actually a mnemonic for all the remembering all the metalloids. Now there is another thing you should know, which is which metals and non-metals and all are liquid in nature. So all the liquid elements you should know, because they are very less and they can be asked in the exam. So I'll tell you. Look at these elements: gallium, bromine, francium, cesium and mercury. These are the only elements which are liquids. So there is another mnemonic. GABR is Gabbar, FR is Fir, CS is Kaise, HG mercury is Marega. Gabbar Fir Kaise Marega is actually a mnemonic for your all the remembering all the liquid elements and all. We will try to memorize the entire periodic table by using mnemonics. Okay, so I'll give you certain mnemonics which will help you to memorize the periodic table, but there is a disclaimer: do not always rely on mnemonics itself. You have to memorize the periodic table by heart. By hook and crook you have to memorize it by heart. Now this mnemonics might help you in initially, but during when you are going to give the exam, if you suddenly forget the mnemonic, then it will be a disaster. So always memorize the periodic table by heart. Let's start with the mnemonics now. The first group we will memorize, we will take in helium, hydrogen here: hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium. So what is the mnemonic we can use? HLINA, make it Helena. K is key, RB is rub, CS is say, should be FR, here is Faryad. So Helena ki rab se Faryad. Now we can memorize the first group like this. Next group we will look at is the second group. Beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium and radium. What we can do with the second group is Ba makes beta, Mg is mange, Ca is car, Sc is scooter, Ba is bap, Ra is roe. So beta, mange, car, scooter, bap, roe. In this we can memorize the second group. In the third one we are looking at the 13th group now. Boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, tellurium. So boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium, what we can do is B is bangan, Al is alu, Ga is gajar, In is in, Tl is thala. Bangan, alu, gajar in thala. Or what we can do, there is another one which is Bal is bal, Ga is Gangadhar, In is Indian, Tl is Tilak. So Bal Gangadhar, Indian Tilak or Bangal Alu Gajar in Thala. We can use both to memorize the 13th group. 14th group we will look at here is carbon, silicon, germanium, tin and lead. The mnemonic here is K is C is actually Kahe, Sai is Sita, G is G, SN is Suno, PB is Prabhu. So Kahe Sita Ji Suno Prabhu, we can memorize the 14th period C, SI, G, SN, PB. Look at the 15th group. Nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth. What we can do here is N can be Nana, P is Papa, AS can be Auntie, SB is Sub, BI is Bimar. So Nana, Papa, Auntie, Sub, Bimar can be NP, AS, SI, BI. Or else what we can use is Nepali, Punjabi, Assamese, Sub, Bhai. We can use this or this, whatever we feel like for the 15th group. Look at the 16th group. Oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium. What we can use here is O is Ullu, S is style, S is C, tail, polish. Ullu style से tail polish. और O style से tipo. O style से tipo or Ullu style से tail polish. We can use any one for the 16th group. Now for the 17th group, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine. This is very easy to memorize in itself, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine. But if you want a mnemonic, you can use first class brain idea attack. In first class brain there is an idea attack. So first class brain idea attack is fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine. Now this group is remaining is the 18th one. Helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. This is also a very easy group to memorize, just helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon. But if you want a mnemonic, you can use Hena, Neha, और करिश्मा excellent Rani. So Hina, Neha or Karishma is better than Rani. So Hina, Neha, Karishma, excellent Rani. This one you can use for the 18th group. Look at the third group. Scandium, Yttrium, Lanthanum. What we can do here is SC is school, Y is Yad, is La. School Yad La. Because everyone is doing online classes, you have to remember school also. School Yad La. Now the fourth group here, titanium, zirconium, hafnium. With this we can do 2, ZA is Zara, HF is Hut. 2 Zara Hut with titanium, zirconium and hafnium. Vanadium, niobium, tantalum. What we can do, V vanadium is Wo, NB is Nawab, TH Tha. Wo Nawab Tha. We can use all these three together as chromatun. It does not mean anything, but you can use chromatun as this one. In the seventh group we have manganese, technetium, rhenium. Mantak for manganese, technetium, rhenium. The eighth group here, iron, ruthenium, osmium. In iron, ruthenium, osmium we can take this all together and write ferrous for iron, ruthenium and osmium. Now the ninth is cobalt, rhodium and iridium. For this what we can do is Co is con, RH is Rahega, IR is Ireland. Con Rahega Ireland, who will live in Ireland. We can do this. For the 10th group, what is there? Nickel, palladium, platinum. What we can do here is नहीं पढ़ोगे तो पिटोगे. नहीं पढ़ोगे तो पिटोगे for nickel, palladium and platinum. 11th group here is copper, silver and gold. In copper, silver and gold what we can do is Cu is con, AU is AG is आगे, AU is आएगा. कौन आगे आएगा for Cu, Ag, Au, copper, steel, silver and gold. Last one here is 12, Zn, Cd, Hg, zinc, cadmium and mercury. For this what we will do is Zini, Cd is Canada में Hg होगी. Zini Canada में होगी with Zn, Cd and Hg. We have almost completed the entire periodic table. Lanthanoids and actinoids remain. You just learn it by heart and all. There will be too many mnemonics, so then you will be confused which mnemonic is where. So just learn this by heart. Mostly the most important portion of the periodic table we have covered with mnemonics. Now we can do like हलीना की रब से फरियाद, बेटा मांगे कार स्कूटर बाप रोए, बैंगन आलू गाजर इन थैला, कहे सीता जी सुनो प्रभु, नाना पापा आंटी सब बीमार, ओ स्टाइल से टीपो. Chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine we can remember just like that, or first class brain idea attack. Helium, neon, iron, krypton, xenon and radon we can remember just like that, or Hina, Neha or Karishma, excellent Rani. Then what we have done, school yaad lao here, तो तू जरा हट, वो नवाब था, क्रोमाटून, मंतकरे, फिरस, कौन रहेगा आयरलैंड, नहीं पढ़ोगे तो पिटोगे, कौन आगे आएगा, जीनी कनाडा में होगी. Okay, done. The entire periodic table we have done. Now there are certain mnemonics which grow by the periods, okay, but I do not use them because the purpose of classification is that you have to remember which elements have similar properties, and the elements with the similar properties are in the same groups. Okay, so although it is very easy to reproduce the periodic table just by 6 mnemonics, we can do the entire periodic table, but it is better to do it in groups form because then you remember which elements have same characteristics. It will help you. A very important portion of the periodic table property. Most of the questions which come from periodic table will come from this portion only. Okay, so this is periodic trends in physical properties. What are the physical properties we are going to see? Atomic volume, size, ionization enthalpy, electron gain enthalpy, electronegativity. You can expect at least 1 to 2 questions will definitely come from your NEET come in your NEET exam from this portion, so we have to be very thorough with it. Okay, so let's start with atomic volume. Now first understand what this atomic volume means. It does not mean the volume of a single atom or something like that. Okay, so the volume is occupied by 1 mole of atoms. We have 1 mole of atoms first of all, not a single atom. Volume occupied by 1 mole of atom of a element at its melting point in solid state. Now this might be a little difficult to understand, so let's take one example. We have a block of metal. Okay, this metal maybe melts at 200 degrees Celsius. Let's take an example. This metal melts at 200 degrees Celsius. We have taken 1 mole of this metal. It might be X gram or something like that. Okay, now we are heating it, right? Let's heat this metal. What will happen? This metal will actually expand a little when it's heated, right? All metals, most of the metals actually expand when heated. You will read in physics. So this has expanded a bit. Now what we are doing, this has reached 200 degrees Celsius. Now what will happen if we heat it again? This will take in some latent heat. We have known the latent heat concept in your earlier classes. You will take some latent heat, and then what will happen? It will melt down. This metal will turn into a liquid. So what we are doing, we are not doing this process, right? We are heating the metal such that it reaches 200 degree, but it is still a solid. We are not giving any latent heat to it, just making it reach 200 degrees. Okay, so at this point, the volume of this metal at this point would be taken as the atomic volume of that metal or that element. This can be with any element. You can do this. Okay, now look at this important formula right here. It's the formula for atomic volume. If you know the atomic volume, you can directly say about the density of that particular element, right? Atomic volume is inversely proportional to the density of that particular particle. This is why the physical properties are important as well, because melting point, boiling point, density, these kind of physical characteristics you can easily decipher from reading about these at certain simple physical properties, right? So what we have seen here is the formula for atomic volume is gram atomic mass, which is the molar mass in grams, by density. Okay, now look at this graph that I took from the internet. It's a very beautifully detailed graph actually, but you don't have to memorize all these graphs and all, because this is not really a trend. Actually it is very squiggly and all. It is not really maintaining a single straight, but I'll tell you what you have to actually remember. So here is the periodic table. You have to remember that down the group, when you are going down the group, volume, atomic volume will always increase. Okay, And when you are going in a period, what will happen actually? In a period, atomic volume first increases. It actually decreases first. In first it decreases, it reaches in the middle of the periodic table, it will reach a minimum, and then it will increase back further. Okay, so this side of the in the extremes of the periodic table, atomic volume is actually high. Atomic volume is high in the extremes of the periodic table, and in the middle it is the minimum. It is the minimum in the middle point of the periodic table. Okay, now this is the trend that is being followed. Now you can look at the graph and you'll get to know what it is. Hydrogen and helium has more atomic volume. And then you see lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, this is decreasing in the first half, and then after carbon it has started increasing again. Nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, there is a peak, and then it is the first group element actually, sodium, and then it is again decreasing. Magnesium, aluminium, silicon, and then it started increasing again. Argon, chlorine, argon, and then again potassium, first group element, is at the top, and then it is again decreasing. So you are getting this, right? This kind of curvy graph with the first group elements, sodium, rubidium, potassium, and all, they are at the peaks of the graph. Okay, now this is the nature of the graph that we will get in atomic volume. Now you don't have to remember for each and every element, but just remember that the alkali metals and helium, helium are actually having the highest atomic volume in a certain period. Okay, now we are done with atomic volume. Now let's look at this simple question right here. The atomic mass, or the gram atomic mass of germanium is given is 72.6. okay, and the density is 5.47 gram per centimeter cube. We have to find the atomic volume. This is very easy. Just apply the formula. What is the formula? Atomic volume's formula is mass by density, right? It is very easy. Volume is mass per unit density. So we will put the mass as 72.6. Make sure that it is the gram atomic mass that is given, not anything else, otherwise this formula will not work. And the density should be in gram per centimeter cube. Okay, so gram per centimeter cube, it is given 5.47. this comes out to be around 13.27 centimeter cube. Okay, I had done the calculation from before. You have to do just this simple calculation and then we'll come at an answer. Okay, now if you have any doubt in atomic volume, then you can contact or write it down in the comments. Also make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Okay, we'll see you guys in the next video.